Good afternoon. My name is Scotty Ward. People call me Sensei Scotty, but I'm here to talk to you about the CS-Sensei CyberSecurity Mentorship Program. First of all, I think the important thing in this is to recognize that this is a program that was begun in 2019. We've been doing it for more than 2 years. And so therefore we've gotten all the kinks worked out. I just wanted to share with you about the CS-Sensei program. So why are we calling it CS-Sensei? What's the importance of the word sensei? Well, if you look at the left-hand side of this slide, those two characters are the kanji representation of the word that we know of as sensei. It literally means person born before another, or one who comes before. Those two symbols that you see, the first one is person, the second is before. So if you think about it, it's one who goes before. So the point of this is not a teaching program. This is a mentorship program. Everyone who is involved in the program has some experience, and they can share that experience with everyone else in the program. So this is a peer mentorship program. This is not a training program, all right? So it's important to note in this. So the point of the CS-Sensei mentorship program is all of us helping each other get cybersecurity jobs with the federal government. And you may say, you know, what's the big deal about the federal government? Well, I will just say that the mentors that we currently have either are federal employees themselves or they work in support of the federal government. So it's important for us to realize that whatever goes on in the industry, the same thing occurs in the federal government, but possibly to an even greater degree. So why should you get a federal cybersecurity job? The first thing to remember is that in today's world, nearly everything is interconnected. You have your smartphones and tablets. Let me use this as my prompt. You have your smartphones and tablets, but then you also have your cable and internet. I'm connected to my Wi-Fi here for the house, for example. But what about your bank accounts? I use this to connect in and do my banking and pay bills. What about your payroll and benefits? They all come through electronic transfers through the wires, which are now connected across the internet. What about your retirement account? You're putting away money for your 401k, your IRAs. Those are all transactions that are occurring online. Retail, point of sale systems. When you go buy, whether it be a car or a candy bar, those transactions all occur online. Your housing, your lights, your water, your utilities, your natural gas, they're all controlled by interconnected systems. Your supply chain, everything that travels by road, rail, or ship, everything is connected. And when we talk about critical infrastructures, we mean the things that if this didn't work right, that the federal government and indeed Americans' livelihood would be affected. Things like water supplies, things like communications, the internet itself. What if the internet stopped working? That's what we mean by critical infrastructures. So you have to realize nearly everything is connected. We're connected, which means we're all affected when something happens. Here are some examples from the Department of Homeland Security. It says 1 in 3 homes with computers right now are infected with malicious software. Here's another one. 47% of American adults have had their personal information exposed by cyber criminals. Half of American adults have had their personal information exposed by criminals. Here's another great one. 600,000 Facebook accounts are hacked every single day. 600,000. It's a big deal. We're all connected and we're all affected by things that go on. So you may ask yourself right now, what's the big deal about right now? Why now? Well, the CSIS put it rather succinctly. They said the need has never been greater. But then along with that, there are other headlines to pay attention to. CyberSecurity Magazine says the global cybersecurity workforce needs to grow 65% to defend critical assets. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that cybersecurity jobs are among the fastest growing career areas nationally. CISO Magazine says cybersecurity has become critical to the fabric of any modern business. Tech Republic says the cybersecurity skills gap persists for the 5th year running. Seattle Times says demand for qualified cybersecurity workers is soaring. The Bureau of Labor Statistics again says CS jobs are projected to grow 7 times faster than the national average job growth rate. Fortinet says the ongoing cybersecurity skills gap affects the entire digital economy. And ISC2 says more than 4 million people are needed to close the worldwide skills gap. And last, CNN put this rather blatantly, kind of a headline, but they say, wanted millions of cybersecurity pros. Rate whatever you want. So the important thing to remember is there is a great cybersecurity skills gap. Right now, according to the ISC2 Cybersecurity Workforce Study, 2.72 million jobs are not being filled because there aren't qualified people to fill them globally. So nationally, how does that translate? Well, if you look at this slide, everything that's in red or orange, 42 states currently have more cybersecurity vacancies than there are people to fill them. And this was taken last week. It's the 7th of December. This was 4 days ago. So why? Why do you want to be in cybersecurity? Well, look at the pay rates. These are average salaries in the United States. For an information security analyst, $82K. For a network security engineer, $115K. Average. These are not the highest. These are the average. And take a look at the numbers of openings that there are. Tens of thousands of vacancies. And this is just this week. So a number of cybersecurity professionals were asked, how long does it take to become proficient within the cybersecurity field? And if you take a look at it, 44% of them said it takes 3 years or less. So the ramp-up time to become skilled in cybersecurity can be less than the ramp-up time to become a nurse. Think about it. So there is honestly no better time than now to enter the cybersecurity workforce. There are hundreds of new initiatives that have been launched by the federal government, by colleges and universities, by particular corporations, etc. Hundreds of new initiatives. Here are some of them. The colleges and universities nationwide have instituted cybersecurity programs and are starting to give out degrees and certificates. There are now cybersecurity centers of excellence, usually centered around a college or university. There are federal reskilling programs that are now in place in the federal government where they're trying to take federal employees who are not in cybersecurity skills and retrain them so that they can be put to use in cybersecurity skills. Money is being spent to get people into cybersecurity right now. There are federal free training resources. If you go to the National Institutes of Science and Technology and look up NICE, there are lots of free programs out there, training and everything, available for free. Just take a look at it and go. YouTube courses. If I learn, I want to show you how to learn. So there are dozens, if not hundreds, of YouTube courses out there available for absolutely no charge. There are certification and study programs. And last, big name corporations like Microsoft, Cisco, and Amazon have started their own cybersecurity certification programs. Why? Because they want to train people to get into the cybersecurity workforce. So you may say, with all of these programs going on, isn't it enough? And the answer is no. There are still way too many vacancies than there are people. So what does it take to get a job in cybersecurity? Well, the first thing, you need to have a technical mind. Think about it this way. You've heard of STEM careers: science, technology, engineering, math. Any of those will qualify you to get into cybersecurity. You need to have an eye toward precision. Maybe you work as an accountant or an auditor, or you're a code writer. You write code, application code for apps on phones or in computers or web apps. Those all are sought after for careers in cybersecurity. You need to have a desire to learn. You've got to be hungry for this. You've got to have a drive to make the world better. And I'll talk about that in a little while, but you've got to have that ethical basis that many other people don't have. And the important thing is that the CS-Sensei mentorship program helps you get into the cybersecurity career field, and then you grow from within. I'm not training cyber warriors. I'm training cyber entrants. And I'm showing you how to have the mindset you need to be successful in this career field. From there, you take the ambition and move with it, okay? So why CS-Sensei? Let's talk about it. Like I said, mentors are federal professionals. What I mean by that is they are either federal employees who have a cybersecurity background, or they are people who support the federal government or have supported the federal government. This is a private, non-commercial mentorship. We don't even have a finance component. This is all volunteers giving of their time. We don't have an agenda except that we want our mentees to be successful. We have no product to sell. We don't have people who say, sell our program and we'll give you, certain discounts here or there. No, we can retain our objectivity. We can look at everything and weigh what we think is best for you. That's what's most important about this program. Our single goal is to get as many mentees as possible hired into the cybersecurity career field. And the reason why I and the other mentors, we are mentoring the people who could very well be our future co-workers. We're thinking ahead. Are you? So the important thing to remember, though, in this is CS-Sensei is not affiliated with the federal government. So we donate our time. We don't do this during our work hours. We do this because we have these skills and because we're interested in people becoming members of the cybersecurity workforce, but we are in no way affiliated with the federal government. So how can CS-Sensei help you? And this is what I was talking about. We can help you develop a white hat mentality. So if you remember the old cartoon, the Spy versus Spy, there was a spy in white and there was a spy in black. And the white guy was always the good guy and the black guy was always the bad guy. So the thing about it is that has sort of translated into cybersecurity. There are people who are working cybersecurity for good, for protection, for the betterment of society. And there are people who are using those exact same skills for their own personal, private, selfish desires. Okay? So let's think about it. White hat, black hat. But there's a third group. And it's a very large group. It's the group in between. Those are what we call gray hats. They may even have jobs as white hats. but they do cybersecurity for the fun of it. And the problem with that is if they don't have that strong ethical, I'll go to the next one, if they don't have that strong ethical underpinning, then they could hear about somebody else over on the black hat side who just made a whole lot of money doing something that these people say, hey, I could do that too. And they get selfish and they say, you know what, I'm going to do that and I'm going to make lots of money. They have just moved. They may be in a white hat job, but their mindset places them into the gray hat mentality that could be swayed over to doing something illegal, immoral, or unethical. In the CyberSecurity Sensei program, we are 100% focused on a white hat mentality and having that ethical underpinning that you need to be successful white hats in cybersecurity. We have a published code of ethics, and we require that all of our mentors and mentees adhere to that. We only do things that are ethical. We only do things that are legal. We only do things that support the betterment of our employers and the cybersecurity career in general. We help you get familiar with USA Jobs, which is where nearly all of the published vacancies are for the federal government. We will walk you through the appropriate searches, the right search criteria, so that you can find these job vacancies and pounce on them and make your applications. We will help you with your applications. We will tell you what phrases work, what phrases to avoid. That's all part of this cybersecurity mentorship process. We'll tell you about how interviews occur, things to look for in an interview, things to avoid in an interview. And there are two very important questions. They're not technical. They're soft skills. But our program will help you ace the critical questions such as, what keeps you up at night? And best of all, why should we hire you? We can help you obtain that. So here's the thing. Are you ready to change your professional trajectory? Are you ready to make a difference in this world? If so, the CS-Sensei mentorship program is here for you. We have, as you can see on the slide, weekly webinars, Saturdays at 9 a.m. As soon as we get large enough, that will branch out and we will have several different programs, mentorships, live webinars going on throughout the week. Right now, they're Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Go to freeconferencecall.com and join the group called CS-Sensei at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Also, if you go to the program wall, so that's freeconferencecall.com/wall/CS-Sensei, there are dozens of recorded session links from our previous recordings. And they are full of good, helpful information. Not all of it is technical. Much of it is helping you get that mindset, helping you understand why the ethical approach is so important. And we do have lots of war stories too, as well. My favorite, the one called Get Out and Vote. Go take a look. In addition, we have a Facebook group called, funnily enough, CS-Sensei, CyberSecurity Sensei. And we also have an email list. You can write and become a member of the email list, and all of our announcements go out on both Facebook and the email list. So you may have some questions. Here are some of the most frequently asked questions and their answers. And you ask, isn't cybersecurity really complex? Well, yes, much of cybersecurity is complex. But if you learn the basics and get hired, you can grow once you're in the field. Our role is to help you get in the field. What you do with it after that is totally up to you. So have a technical mind, have that white hat mentality, and be hungry. You will do so well in cybersecurity. So why do we emphasize the federal employment? Like I said, we are either feds ourselves or we have supported the federal government, and we are here to mentor people who could very well be our future coworkers. Can anyone get a federal job? Well, in general, you have to be a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national to work in the federal government, but there are some exceptions, especially if no qualified U.S. citizens are available. So think about that. So another thing you may ask is, well, I've had a bankruptcy. Is that going to harm me when I try and go and get my clearance? Because nearly every federal government job involves a background investigation. Bankruptcies automatically do not disqualify you from obtaining or keeping your federal job. All right? Next one, last question for now. Do I need a college degree or professional certifications? Well, yes. Some entry-level certifications are typically required, and that's why the CS-Sensei program tends to aim all of our mentees toward the CompTIA Security Plus certification. That's considered to be the foundational certification for all cybersecurity career fields. There are more advanced certifications, such as the CISSP or the CISM. Yes, there are, and you should be expected, once you get into the career field, using your Security Plus certification, you should expect the next thing they're going to ask is, how quickly can you get further certifications? But get in the door. That's the deal. So we will help you locate and train with the resources you need to pass your Security Plus exam. In addition, our mentors, at least at this moment, all have Security Plus certification ourselves. So something to think about. Not only will we help you get your Security Plus, but we will also help you figure out what are the next steps once you do. So here's the thing. If this sounds interesting to you, accept the challenge. Come to and join the CS-Sensei mentorship program and let us help you change your life. Thank you very much for your time.